On this day in 1986, Davie Provan played for Celtic for the last time. Season 1985-86 was the end of an era in Scottish football in more ways than one. Jock Stein tragically died at the end of a World Cup qualifying match in Cardiff on the 10th of September 1985. It was the last season before the arrival of Graham Souness at Ibrox and the beginning of their huge spending era that ended with such catastrophic consequences in 2012. It was the end of the new firm years when Aberdeen and Dundee United were regular and serious title contenders, and it also saw the effective end of the career of one of the best Celtic players of the post-Stein period, Davie Provan. The title race had taken on an unusual look through late November, early December 1985, when Scotland travelled to Australia for an ultimately successful World Cup playoff match, meaning the usual contenders had several matches postponed, and almost unnoticed, Hearts, who had no international players in their squad, moved to the top of the league. Completely unexpectedly, they were on a long unbeaten run and would stay there until the final minutes of the season, and as Celtic took on Motherwell at Celtic Park on the 15th of January 1986, it was in the knowledge that a win was essential if they were to stay in the race. A 1-1 draw with Aberdeen at Celtic Park on the 11th of January left Celtic in 5th place after 21 matches, 6 points behind leaders Hearts, but with 3 games in hand. Ahead of Celtic, Aberdeen could also go level with Hearts if they won their 2 games in hand, while Dundee United could go top if they won theirs. A disastrous series of matches in October-November had seen Celtic go down 3-0 at home to Dundee United, 4-1 away to Aberdeen, and 3-0 to Rangers at Ibrox on consecutive weekends. And after scoring his last ever goal at Pittodrie, Davie Provan became unwell during the match at Ibrox and had to be substituted. Over the next few weeks, he found any kind of physical exercise led to extreme fatigue and was later diagnosed with ME, an illness which at the time was nicknamed yuppie flu and was barely understood by most medical professionals. Following medical advice, Provan had continued to train and was attempting a comeback against Motherwell. The Glasgow Herald reported on the morning of the match, "Celtic will be without goalkeeper Pat Bonner, Paul McGugan, Tommy Burns and Murdo MacLeod, but there is a chance that winger Davie Provan, who has not played since early November because of glandular fever, will be involved at some stage of the match." Only 12,000 fans turned up for this twice-postponed midweek match against bottom-of-the-table Motherwell to see Celtic line up Latchford, W. McStay, McGrain, Aitken, O'Leary, Grant, McClare, P. McStay, Johnston, McGee, Archdeacon, subs, Provan, McAnally. Celtic made heavy weather against Motherwell, which was becoming a common occurrence, and after they made a bright opening, the visitors scored in their first attack on 11 minutes after Andy Dornan's shot came off the crossbar. The defence was slow to react and John Riley scored from the rebound. Frustration began to set in and Motherwell almost went 2 ahead on 25 minutes when new signing Crawford Bapty headed an easy chance just wide. Celtic redoubled their efforts, and after Roy Aitken headed on an Owen Archdeacon corner on 31 minutes, Mark McGee, picked out by Jim Reynolds in the Glasgow Herald as Celtic's best player on the night, headed it home. Having laboured through the first half, Celtic went up a gear in the second, Mo Johnston scoring on 49 minutes. Jim Reynolds wrote in the Glasgow Herald on the 16th of January, 4 minutes after the interval, Celtic took the lead with a tremendous goal. McGrain started the move with a long pass from his own half and Archdeacon raced down the left before sending over a hard cross which Johnston, running at full pace, headed past Gardner. But for some woeful finishing, Celtic would have won comfortably, with Johnston and Brian McClare both missing good chances before Davie Provan replaced Owen Archdeacon 20 minutes from the end. On 76 minutes, McClare had an amazing miss, ballooning a low cross from Roy Aitken high and wide from inside the 6-yard box. But he made up for it 10 minutes later, Reynolds reporting, 4 minutes from time, however, Provan took a hand and Celtic clinched the match. The little winger fired in a low drive, which Gardiner failed to hold, and this time McClare made no mistake from the rebound. Right on the stroke of time, Motherwell scored a second when a Jamie Doyle free kick was deflected past Latchford, but Celtic had the win they needed to leapfrog Rangers into 4th place, level on points with Aberdeen and Dundee United. Davie Hay was quoted in the Evening Times of the 16th of January. Davie Provan had no ill effects after his 20-minute spell when replacing Owen Archdeacon, but he is still a long way short of full fitness. Unfortunately, Davie Provan never recovered full fitness, and that 20-minute contribution against Motherwell was the last match of his career, still 3 months short of his 30th birthday. The part he played in that late Brian McClare goal turned out to be absolutely vital at the end of the season as Celtic snatched the title on goal difference that memorable day at Love Street.